the expected return, variance, and standard deviation, you need to follow the steps. Okay, so the first step is obviously to do what? Take those figures and post it through to your table. Okay, make sure that this is in decimals, not percentages. Remember, you can't use percentages in the table. Alright, so the possible return for A, 1132. So 0.11, 0.32. Right, then we've got negative 9% and then plus 21. Negative 9% and then plus 21. Okay, the probability, 30, 15, 15, 40. 30, 15, 15, 40. Okay, did you guys get that?
Yes.
Expected return, did you guys all get 15,5? 1, 5?
Yes.
Okay, something went wrong with the expected return. This times this gives you that. This times this gives you that. Sum up all of that and you get that answer.
My deviation was wrong.
Okay, so those are the answers. Just check and see where you went wrong and what went wrong. Not everything, just look at the table. Look at what I have here. Oh, okay, so you made a mistake right at the beginning. Right, be careful. Yeah, because if you make a mistake right at the beginning, it's going to throw out the whole table. Yeah, you've got to be very, very careful. Yeah, you've got the figures, but you have the wrong answer. Okay, just misadding. What's wrong? You've got it, didn't you?
I got one was from deviation from ER.
Okay, so this is what you should be writing down. Write down the answers. Okay, so make sure you make a note of this. Make sure you make a note of this and redo the question until you get it. Okay, right, and then redo until you get. Okay, because the table you can create. I've sent you guys one already, so you've got that. You can just update your Excel spreadsheet, right, and then you'll build this yourself. Okay, but make sure you've got the right answers. So get those 4 points at least. Right, you can always, when you have time, redo and redo and redo until you get the right values. Okay. Is that okay? Alright, yeah, make sure you've got those answers. Okay, so when you do the table again, you can get there. Okay, so that's the table that you need to obviously know in terms of workings. As I said before, you can see this in tests and exams. Okay, in one of the exam past papers, they did give it to you, but they gave you insufficient columns. Okay, remember, you need these columns to draw up the table. Alright, so let's see if you guys remember how to do CAPM. Okay, what is CAPM? It's the price sensitivity of the security's returns compared to its risk. Okay, risk and return, right? CAPM is that. Okay, your capital asset pricing model. Right, it's an upward linear relationship between risk and return. Okay, so the formula, the required return is the risk-free plus the beta times the market return minus the risk-free. Okay, that's the premium. Okay, so the question here gives you beta, market return, risk-free, and they want to calculate required. Okay, so what is the answer? Quickly do that working. CAPM should be easy as long as you remember the right equation. If you've got the right equation, you'll be able to do it. did you get?
How much number shall I do it?
Not here. Okay, yeah, 22.2 is correct. Substitute and solve. Risk-free 6%, beta 1.8, market return 15, risk-free 6%, final answer 22.2. Easy, hey? Okay, as long as you've got the equation, it's pretty easy. Right, now we've got more time value of money, but applied to what? Bonds. Alright, so the question I'm going to ask you now is this. Present value. For bonds, how do I work it out? Why not? What happened today? Okay. Present value of what? Just think about it. What are you discounting? What does the bond give you? The bond gives you not a dividend, that's equity. The bond gives you interest, and we call that a coupon. Okay, so we present value the coupons, and we present value the face or par value. Okay, so all the payments and the FV. Okay, we take all those amounts and we move them all backwards. Alright, so if this is discounting, if the I is bigger, what's going to happen to the bond price? The bigger the I, the smaller the PV. Okay, so there's the note. Inverse relationship. If I increase the I decrease the bond. If I decrease the I increase the bond. Okay, is that right?
Decrease the I, increase.
Decrease the I, increase the bond. Increase the I, decrease the bond. Okay, it's inverse. Okay, so the one goes up, the other comes down. Okay. How do you do bond calculations? Your job is to identify the variables. Okay, so you need to know how to find those 5 variables. Okay, obviously they'll give you 4 of the 5, 1 will be unknown. Okay, don't forget the payment will have a rate. Okay, so if I take the coupon rate and I multiply that by the face value, I get the payment. Okay, the PMT. Right, PMT is the coupon. Okay, the coupon comes from the rate. Okay, coupon rate times face or par value gives you the coupon, which is the PMT.
That's rate times face value is a coupon.
Coupon rate times face value gives you coupons, yes. Right, then you've got 3 different yield curves. You've got an upward, a downward, and a flat curve. And you've also got a note about premium and discount bonds. Bond is a premium if it's above par. It's a discount if it's below par. Okay. So, yes. Okay, it's the amount right at the end. Correct. Okay, so what do I have here? Well, I've got an company X, okay, issues a 10% 25 annual coupon bond. Okay, so what does the 10% represent?
10%
The coupon, yeah, 10% of the what? The par value. Yes. Okay, what is your N? 25 years. And what I do you have in the question? The 16%. Alright, so substitute and solve.
But the 10 million is your. So let's make sure that what's the 10 million again?
10 million is the par value, the FV, right?
FE, par value.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Solve for PV on the calculator.
You make it look so easy. Yo.
Is it that bad?
No. I don't know.
I just don't know if I can think of this when I'm in the exam.
Yeah, that's the
Under
thing.
pressure.
Serious. Okay, you need to do past papers then. You need to do more assignment questions as well, so you do get more comfortable with the workings.
We can calculate the PV.
You're calculating the PVS. No, that can't be possible. No, actually it can be possible if you put the things in as positive.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. Just look at the amount.
I get 244,652 benefits. I get the wrong answer.
That's the answer. Do we get that?
Oh, I think times 10 million by 10%. That's what I think it is.
Okay, so you did that. What didn't you do?
10 million will be 7 zeros. 1 and 7.
10 million would be 10 and 6 zeros. I'd rather use it. I'd rather look at it that way.
Must not putting that future value 10 million as a negative.
No, the payment and the FE must have the same sign. So just keep them as positives. You don't have to change anything.
This year's flying very quickly.
Eh?
This year's flying fast.
It has.
Then you just another one.
Are we getting this, guys?
I got
10 million times 10% is 1 million. Then you press PMT. N is 25. I is that. F is that. Press PV.
Before we go, you just need to try to do my unisa again. Because I've actually not got a doctor on my phone now. I ran to that.
Don't worry about it. Next week we'll look at it. So,
I've got my computer at home, those my exam papers, but I don't think it's.
are we getting it?
I'm doing something wrong with that payment with the way I put it in.
Okay, so 10 times by 0.1. 0.1 is 10%. Okay. Alright, that's one. What do you notice here, guys? It's a discount bond. Why is it a discount? 6.3 is less than 10 million. Okay, next one.
Just sorry, let me just write that also down.
Okay, next one, guys. Question 2. Nice and simple. Identify variables, substitute and solve.
5.942691.44. Yeah, so 67.
Yep. That's right. Okay. Alright, so the payment is the 5 million times the 12%. So you would have put in 600,000 there. In 30, I 10, FE 5 million. Discount of premium? Premium. Why is it premium? It's higher than 5 million. Okay. Guys, okay with that one? Alright, then you've got one more to do. Quickly work out that one. Example 3. And that covers the bonds. What's different about 3?
It goes different to the extra amount.
You're asked to work out what? The yield to maturity, right? So I'm working out I. Okay, so to work out I need to substitute all the other variables in. Okay, here you do need to use a negative for the PV. Okay, because PV will have the opposite sign to your payment and your future value. Okay, so payment and future value, keep that as plus. Just make the PV a minus, so your calculator won't get confused, and you'll get that, an I of 16,39. Yes, that's the only thing different with example 3 compared to example 2. They've asked you, or I've asked you to work out I. You do need the present value. You need 4 of the 5 variables to find the unknown. PV must be a negative. If not, the calculator will give you an error. Okay. Alright, good. You both are getting it. So let's look at the last bit. Okay. Companies can use debt to raise capital, and they can also use equity. Okay, so debt and equity is used to raise capital. Okay, ordinary shares, they are residual owners because they get what's left over. They share the profit. Preference shareholders are viewed as being debt and equity, quasi-debt, because it's similar to debt and also similar to equity. Okay, we spoke about voting rights, proxies, and dividends when we covered this chapter a few weeks back. Okay, just remember, preference shares are viewed more as a liability than debt because you have to pay out a dividend. Alright, so when it comes to the valuation, what must I do here? Same thing applies. Keep it simple, use time value of money, just identify the variables. PV, payment, FE, N, and I. Right, if you can identify the 5 variables, you'll be able to do the calculation. Okay. Alright, when do I use Gordon growth? When you see that, yes. Okay, when you see a growth rate. Right, so whenever there's a growth rate, you need to show Gordon growth. Right, so share A is expected to pay a dividend next year of 6 Rand per share, and this dividend is expected to grow at a rate of 10%. Using a required return of 18, what is share A's value? What do I do? Correct. Okay, next year, meaning div 1. Okay, so equals 6 over 0,18 minus 0,10 gives you what answer? What do we get? Do you agree? Yes, good. Right, and B, if the question said you just paid a dividend, calculate the price of the share, then you would have to do that. Just paid. Just paid means that's div 0. Okay, remember div 0 needs to be compounded to div 1. Okay, so just paid means that's the dividend. 6 Rand is there. Okay, to get to div 1, I need to times the 6 by 10%. So 1,10. Right, that will give me the 6 Rand 60, which is div 1. Okay, so just be careful with the wording. The wording is important. We looked at it in the assignment last time. Okay, so there's the PV. 6 times 1.1 divided by R minus G gives you 82.5. Okay, is that alright? Okay, so just be careful with the numerator. Make sure you get the right dividend before doing the calculation. Are we okay? Are we okay? Right. Then the last bit, one of these. Okay, where you need to do what? Draw a timeline. Okay, did I draw a timeline here? No, let's draw one. Okay, so 4 Rand in year 1, 6 Rand in year 2, 7 Rand in year 3. And we expect to sell the share for 215. Right, so there's a dividend, and that's a cash flow. Okay, so on your calculator, Y1, Y0, Y2, and Y3. Y0 is 0, Y1 is 4, Y2 is 6, Y3 is what?
Is that 7%?
Yes, 2, 2, 2. Okay, solve for NPV. Okay, using what? 15% as your I. Okay, so I think I've shown that here. Is everyone happy with the diagram? Okay, so there's the cash flow. Make sure you type that in correctly on your calculator to get the right NPV.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, happy guys?